Angela Stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean, I make medicine sick.
And you are record for Usain Bolt.
Lionel Messi! Oh my goodness!
Lionel Messi does it again. It's superhuman.
Michael Van fucking Jojo and Michael Van Bastos are the champions of the Confederation Cup. Glorious stars have lifted the trophy.
All right, into another Saturday morning here on Asaase 99.5. Good morning to you wherever you are in Ghana, because we are live in Tamale on 99.7, live in Cape Coast on 100.3, in Kumasi on 98.5. My name is Ekoi Silfi. Welcome to your weekend's most exciting, insightful, and thought-provoking sports analysis show on radio from now till 1 p.m. We're sure to bring you all the things you need to know in the world of sports. And we're live on all our social media handles on Asaase 99.5 on Facebook, on X, and on TikTok. You're free to join us with all of your thoughts on all the issues we'll be discussing this morning all through till 1 p.m. And we'll be glad to share all of those thoughts with the rest of the world on WhatsApp. You can join us on 020-0000-995 or 059-415-7777. That's 020-0000-995 and 059-415-7777. And share all of those thoughts with us. Coming up this morning, we're talking about the Ghana Premier League. It has 7 games to go. The title race is still open. Kotoko lead at the top, but 3 teams that have not won the league before are in contention. We're asking this morning, could there be a fresh winner in the Ghana Premier League this time? Remember, Samatex won it the last edition. This morning, we'll do a thorough and critical look at the current state of the GPL. We will dissect the key statistics, numbers behind the goals, officiating, and then we'll find out why our local league continues to struggle with sponsorship and broadcast deals. Well, GFA statistician Shaban Mohammed joins us today as he breaks down the numbers and tell us what could decide the title race here on the show this morning. We'll also review results from the UEFA Champions League games played this week and attempt to look into what the second legs of the quarterfinals could be. Can Arsenal hold on to that 3-0 lead against Real Madrid when they visit the Bernabeu next week? Well, whatever your reactions are to that win by Arsenal, you're free to join us with your thoughts. But the question is, can Arsenal hold on to that lead and then make it into the next round of the competition? Of course, our weekly updates on Formula One is also coming up. My guest this morning is going to be Dr. Nana Asante Apia, who is chairman of the Life Healthcare Group and also the patron of the BMW Club Ghana and a member of the Motorsports Federation Ghana. Remember, the Bahrain Grand Prix is on, and this weekend the watch party takes us to the Labadi Beach Hotel. We've got a lot more on that here on the show this morning. But a sad one, Division 1 League fixture between Hohoe United and Atram Divisa was marred by violence as chaos erupted at the Tuba Astro Turf following the final whistle. The match ended in a narrow 1-0 win for the home side, Atram Divisa. They saw tensions boil over among supporters, especially from the visiting Hohoe United fans who were reportedly infuriated by a series of controversial decisions made by the referee. And I mean, witnesses have described heated exchanges that escalated into physical altercations with fans from both sides embroiled in their conflict. Security personnel were called in to restore order, but not before the situation had turned chaotic. And the Sports and Recreation Minister, Kofi Adams, was at that venue to watch that game. He had some impressions about the game itself. We'll share with you later on the show here. So, things were not really, but we understand no serious injuries or fatalities were reported in the incident. Police quickly intervened to manage the disorder and restore calm. Well, we'll see how this one will go and what the GFA will do about it. We've got all of these and more coming up here, plus all the tidbits from across the world. I'm sure the Liverpool fans are excited about the fact that Mohamed Salah has extended his contract to 2027. We understand that he rejected about 500,000 euro per week offer from the Gulf and decided to stay with Liverpool. How about the future of Virgil van Dijk and of course Trent Alexander-Arnold? We'll bring you the very latest on that as we build up also to the European leagues coming up or games coming up this weekend. We'll run through you all the carefully selected ones that we have here. But in the GPL yesterday, Kingsley Braye, he scored a magnificent hat-trick as Media Mohammed dreams FC 4-0 to end their 5-game unbeaten run in the Premier League at the TNA Park. The youngster scored 2 great headers and a penalty as part of an all-round dominant display where he ran dreams in tatters. The result means that Mediama keep the pace with leaders Asante Kotoko as they jump to 5th in the table with some 41 points, just 5 points behind the Porcupine Warriors with 8 matches to end the season. And so that's how things went in the Ghana Premier League game played at the TNA Stadium in Takwa yesterday. So Mediama winning by 4-0 there. It looks like the title race is going to be very, very, very heated and interesting as we inch closer and closer to the start of the to the end of the season. All right, like I mentioned, my first guest is already in the studio, Shaban Mohammed, GFA Statistics, and I was telling you about how the league is going, and this morning our main purpose is to look into how the Ghana Premier League is shaping up with 7 or 8 matches to go, with 3 teams that have not won the league before in contention. Could there be a fresh winner in the Ghana Premier League like Samatex did last season? So we'll dissect the key statistics, the numbers behind the goals, officiating, and then we'll find out other issues when we are joined in here by Paul Anyamba, who is business manager for Samatex, and of course Eric Halagidede, who is a football administrator, later on the show. But I can tell you that the Ghana's under 21 men's and women's hockey teams have officially withdrawn from the upcoming Junior Africa 2024 Africa Cup, scheduled to take place in Namibia from April 18 to 25, 2025. We'll bring you some more details on that as we move along. But let me first of all welcome Shaban and of course Princeton Redu into the studio. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Shaban, how are you?
I'm good. And
Good to see you.
Yes, sir.
Good to see you. Good to see you. But before I come to you, Princeton, Mediama 4-0.
It's an emphatic win for them. They have a very, very good record at home. And in fact, since Ibrahim Tanko also joined them, they've been very, very formidable at that venue. I believe Shaban has a lot of details and a lot of data in what they are doing over there.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the TNA Park, they are very, very good. They play very well, and I think they didn't start really well in the season. Had to
Some
leave
ups and downs.
Adote behind, and there was a new man, and then finally they settled on Ibrahim Tanko. I think that the next season will be what would they judge them for, and how they would fare in the season and all of that. This is I think that yes, probably the league is over for them. Winning it is over for them, but this performance really shows how formidable they are as a team. It's very rare to see a 4-0 result in a Ghana Premier League, you know. So for them to give that score line, it was very, very fun to see that result.
Generally, what's your impression about the league where we are now? Well, generally, tell me.
It's competitive. I mean, our league is very competitive, even though the level could not be at the highest standards. But I think that's very competitive. This is a league that the races, the gap between the challenging teams is down to 5 points with 7 games to go. Anything can happen. Things can change. Yes, Kotoko are leading. They lead 2 points ahead of Gold Stars. So, I mean, a lot of things can happen, and there are lots of dynamics in it.
Yeah.
Also, with the fact that there's a team that has withdrawn from the league, Instraman FC. All those things are going to play into the title race.
Who eventually lifted. Okay. All right. Now, once we have Shaban here, he's going to help us with all the numbers, all we need to know about the league, with about 25 matches. In fact, the week 26 started yesterday with Mediama winning by 4-0. And so once Shaban is here, I'll go straight to him. And first of all, let me ask you, Shaban, you have monitored the Ghana Premier League for some time. What's your assessment of the current state of play and everything around the GPL?
Well, I would say that the Ghana Premier League over the years have been very competitive. I have followed the Premier League keenly with all my interest, and from 2020-21, I've done analysis of the league, and then you can clearly see that if you are judging the league based on individual players, you kind of see improvement. If you are judging the league based on the total team play, then you are also going to see it in a different perspective. Example, if you compare the 2020 to this season's Premier League, the analysis is that the year that recorded the most goals in the most season was in the 2020-21. Okay. However, in that season, we had a top scorer who scored only 18 goals. That is D.U.C. Taylor. Then the season that recorded the least total goals scored in the league was a season we had an individual player equaling the records of Ishmaelado in 2000, which is 22 goals. And so that is Yao Ano of Ashanti Gold. And so if you are doing analysis of the league, clearly these are some of the things you come to understand. Again, you asked a question about how competitive this season has been. And clearly, I think that ever since we moved from the 16 teams to 18 Premier League teams, there have been a lot of changes as compared to what will happen in a specific season. So in the 2019-2020 season, it was truncated along the line. In the 2020-21, we moved from the 16 to 18 Premier League team. Guess what? The winner of the league was decided after match day 27. So entering into this weekend, the winner was decided, and that was when Heart of Folk won against Kotoko, went top of the league comfortably and won the league. So look at how many matches we played. So after the first round was Karela, who were top of the league. Heart of Folk were 6th place. They were not in the title chase. In the 2021-22, when Dr. Prosper Natiogu moved from West African Football Academy, when he finished 3rd place as one of the best records for their club, he joined Kotoko that specific season. And that season, Kotoko went top of the league in match day 11. And that was it. They were champions of the league. From match day 11, 11-12 to 34. So it was interesting to see that. In 2022-23, the league again was decided in the second round. And that season, it was decided after match day 31. And that was when Mediama, in fact, went ahead to win the Premier League. And that was also an interesting one. And that season, Mediama, after match day 27, were not even part of the teams that were battling for the league title. Of course, they were around the top 4, but they were not the title candidate because Indiana, as at that period, were top of the league. Then last season, Samatex went top of the league in match day 14, and from there, they were top until the end of the season. This season, the league is also going to be decided in the second round, and as at now, we don't know which team is likely to win based on the points accumulated, based on what you've observed, based on the top 4 battles, and even the top 5 teams who are currently battling for the league title, and it is making it more interesting. Again, since we moved from 16 to 18 Premier League teams, we've got to realize that the winner of the league is you need 60 points. The plus of points is the analysis we use, and that is the records you are setting.
Okay.
So we can say that Mediama
60 points.
60 points.
Okay.
So we will say Mediama won the Premier League with the least points accumulated as champions because they won the 2022-23 season with 60 points. Then in 2020-21, Hearts won with 61 points. 2023-24, Samatex won with 61 points. And then the most points accumulated as champions has to do with Kumasi Asante Kotoko, who amassed a total of 67 points in the 2021-2022 season. And so you need 60 points, and we have teams who have a total of 46 points, Kotoko, 44 points, Gold Stars. And if you see this total points accumulated, then it tells you that there's a possibility that these two teams are going to amass the 60 points, but the plus will decide which team is going to win the league. And when it happens like that, then it will be the first time that we are going to have two teams amassing 60 points and battling for the league title since we moved from the 16 Premier League teams to 18 Premier League teams. And if you look at the records, Kotoko is currently the team that have gone top of the league at a particular time for a long period to stay on top of the league and then go eventually won the league title. Samatex becomes the second team because they went top in match day 14. Kotoko went top in match day 11. Now, if I remember that game, in match day 11 was Kotoko Indiana in Doma. And prior to that game, they had 23 points. And the decider, that just after the match, Kotoko had went up and they won the game by 2-0 in Doma. And was the first time Dr. Prosper Nateogum was doing that. And so this season we are going to see the 60 plus because we have a total of 27 points to be amassed, and the side that could amass most of these points would be the champion. So if out of the 27, if you have a team winning 20, then they are likely to get close to the league title, but based on what the second team will do. And so it is building up that momentum. Again, Samatex won the league last season. And the biggest strength of the team was their home fixtures.
Let me announce that for Samatex, we have their business development manager seated already, Paul Kwesi Anyamba here with us. And so very soon you'll be hearing from him. Paul, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good to have you.
Sure.
Always a pleasure to have you.
The ruler.
Yes, sir. All right. Okay, Shaban, so let's continue.
So Samatex won the Premier League with most home wins. That is 16/17. And that was an impressive record by Samatex. This season, we have some teams who are currently unbeaten at home. Betim are unbeaten at home in 12 matches and 10 wins, 2 draws, yet to concede a goal at home. But what is actually helping Gold Stars is their home form, but consistency is not there, and that is why they are struggling. So in 12 matches, they have won 9 and they have drawn 3. They are yet to lose a game at home. They've conceded 4 goals. But if you want to win the Premier League, you still don't have to draw a game at home. You have to win all the matches, or you have to pick the most points at home, and that is what is really a challenge for Gold Stars. Their opponent that managed to go there and pick a point. But for Kotoko, since match day 13, they are yet to lose a game at home. So since they lost to Nations FC in November 2024, they are yet to lose a fixture. And that game was played at Asaase Link Lane. From there, they moved to the Baba Sports Stadium, and they played Heart of Oak in the Premier League game from there. And it's been consistent from Heart of Oak to Karela to Legon Cities to Brekum Chelsea to Baseke Oli Stars, back to back wins, 7 consecutive home wins in the Premier League, and that is also what is helping them. Currently, they've got 10 home wins in the Premier League, and that is a bit of advantage for them. They have to win all their home games and look at getting some away points, and I think it is really going to help them. But Dr. Prosper Nateugum battling for another league title, I think the team has got something up front.
Okay.
And if you want to win the Premier League, you need to have something up front. So when Mediama won the Premier League, we talk about Jonathan Soa. Instant impact when they went ahead to win the Premier League. Aside, last season we saw Evans Osei Usubaba Hamadou Musa. So what Samatex did was to go and bring the goal poacher, the top scorer of the Access Bank Division 1 League, Baba Hamadou Musa from Sky FC, who had 20 goals in 29 matches in Zone 2 and the overall top scorer in the 2022-23. They brought in then instant hit. He did the magic. So he scored more goals than Evans Osei also added his goals to it. In total, they went ahead to win. They had one of the best 2 midfielders, Emmanuel Keyeke, Sedi Yusuf Dauda, and eventually they had the trophy because of that consistency in the midfield.
So for Kotoko, what is doing the magic for them?
Up front.
Okay.
Look at their attack. Albert Amoa, he scored 7 goals. Kwame Poku is also among the top scorers just in the second round, instant hit. If you pick these 2 players aside, look at Samson Eduku. He's not got enough playing time, but guess what? Samson Eduku is a direct replacement for Kwame Poku or Albert Ama when these 2 players are not available for the fixture. And so Samson Eduku is key player. Isaac Menta is a very, very good goal poacher, and he could also play as a number 10. You could even use him behind the strikers. In fact, even at number 8, he will just be getting you the goals, and he's a very creative player. He's also available. Now, aside that, look at the number of wingers they've got. So sometimes I ask, how would Doctor go into fixtures? Because at all costs, you have to bench 2 of the strikers. Because you have Pitamidu Aqua, you have Saka Dauda. Saka gives you the pace, Pitamidu gives you the pace, and then creativity. So if you have such players, then it will be very difficult for opponents to breach. And that is why Kotoko in their last 7 games at home have scored in each of their matches and have considered one.
So it means Kotoko they have no reason not to win the league.
They have no reason. They've got that strong team. But for maybe any Gold Stars.
Well, sorry, I wanted to ask about the Kotoko one. So they are on top of their league, and everything that you've mentioned clearly indicates that they are the favorite. But there's another caveat to it, that the other teams in the title race. So Bibiani Gold Stars, they are going to have the 3 points plus 3 goals against Xtra. They are here to play against them, right? So there's Xtra against Gold Stars, against Mediama, who are also in the title race. So more, I don't know what do you think? How do you think this is going to affect Kotoko in the title race? Because Kotoko have played in Xtra already. And the other opponents who are yet to play means that they are going to get these 3 points.
Okay.
So I'm quite worried for Kotoko in that title race.
Well, it's about winning your matches. Currently, Kotoko are on top of the league, but at all costs, then Swatraman points will go for BBN Gold Stars, as well as Nations FC, who are also title contenders. We'll talk about them after Gold Stars. But the issue is that even if the game was yet to be played, there's a possibility of Gold Stars also winning the fixture. If they win the fixture, Kotoko will still have to win their fixtures. The most important thing is that if you want to win the Premier League, focus on your fixtures and get the wins that you want, because there's a chance that Gold Stars, as at that period against Swatraman, are going to record the fixture. So for me, I have not got any problem with that. My focus has to do with the strengths and weaknesses of the teams that are battling for the league title, and of course, how many of the teams could win the league. And like I was talking about BBN Gold Stars, it is a blend of young team and experienced players. And I think Frimpong Manson has done something good, because the Premier League is so tough that you can't play with only inexperienced players. And that has been the challenge of the debutants or the newly promoted side. In their first season, they would want to use majority of the young players in the season. Sometimes it goes a long way to affect them. If you look at the Gold Stars team, they've not got strikers, a lot of strikers that will give them a lot of goal. But Samuel Atakome has been very impressive. From Karela United, we didn't see much of him, but at Babiani Gold Stars, he's delivered. Michael Nkua, a very young player, young chap, is also blending good with Samuel Atakome, and they are doing a lot of job up front for Babiani Gold Stars. Aside that, William Denchin Tori has won the Premier League with Heart of Oak. I've won the MTN FA Cup back to back with Heart of Oak. He's got the experience from King Faisal as well. So the experience is there. Vincent Atiga Adai has not been really a starter in the second round, but he is one of the backup experience for Babiani Gold Stars. They went ahead to sign one of the best shot stoppers last season, Emmanuel Kobe from Bofo Akpatano. He's also part of the team. And then Kevin Obin at Bofo Akpatano was very good. And so I think one of the things Gold Stars have done is to blend the experience and the young players, and it is giving them the results and that consistency. When they made their debut in the 2021-22 season, we saw their potentials. And I have always said that every team that have qualified from the Zone 2 of the Access Bank Division 1 League are all potential league winners. And you saw what Samatex did. In their first season, it wasn't smooth. In their second season, they went ahead to win the Premier League. We've seen what Nations FC are doing. They also qualified from Zone 2. We've seen what Babiani Gold Stars are doing. They also qualify from Zone 2. So every team that qualifies from Zone 2, for me, are potential league winners, even in their first season. So I'm not surprised with what Babiani Gold Stars are doing. Again, I'm sure they feel this is their time to win the league, because if a team qualifies from Zone 2, their following season they go ahead to win the league. That is Samatex from the Western region. Mediama wins the league for the first time from the Western region. They feel that they've also got that strength to go ahead and win the Premier League. Now, Nations FC are also in a league battle. In their first season, interestingly, Nations FC won 4 away matches and scored only 4 away goals. So it means that in their 4 away matches as a club, they won all the matches 1-0. And they went ahead to lose all the remaining fixtures. And so clearly, in their first season, it was very tough. But they were unbeaten at home. However, they drew most of their fixtures. And so that season, they drew against Kotoko 2-2. They drew against Heart of Oak 1-1. They drew against Legon Cities 1-1 at their home. But this season, they've not been that prolific at home, but away, they've got majority of the wins. And that is, if you are talking about teams with most away wins, Nations FC breaking the records of their first season, going ahead to win 6 away matches and this season, and becoming the team with most away wins. Again, at home, they have 6 home wins, and that is the biggest challenge of Nations FC. In 12 home matches, they've only won 6 of the matches at home, and they've lost against Brekum Chelsea, and that was when their home unbeaten run in 22 matches in the Premier League came to an end. But I think that in the last matches to go, if they really want to win the league, they have to put in more, because they've got their players. Because if you look at one of the sides that have got good defenders, Christopher Nete, experience, Razak Simpson, experience, Oko Gribman, they picked him up from Great Olympics, experience, Samuel Oseko from Bichim United 2 seasons ago. We were talking about him with Kofi Agbesima partnership at Bichim. Now he's with them. Emmanuel Boahen is also part of the team. Kujua Mankwa signed from Hoho United. So if you look at the back 4 of Nations FC, the quality is up there, with these players becoming potential players to even play for the national team because of their strength. Their goalkeeping department, I think Sanon has not been bad. Kofi Mensah started so well with them. So they've paid attention to their back 4. Abdul Karim in the midfield and Berima Baha. Look at their up front. Where they are having problem is their up front. Yes, a lot of people are applauding them because Faisal Chawete is currently the top scorer, joint top scorer with 10 goals. But Faisal is a typical winger from Akachi All-Stars.
We'll come to the top scorers and then see who eventually could come out. What advantages do they have to eventually emerge as the top scorer of the season? Let me draw in Paul. And again announced that Eric Alagitide has also joined us in the studio. Eric, good morning, welcome.
Good morning, Senior.
Thank you for coming.
How are you?
I'm fine. I hope you are fine. How did the week go?
The week? It's okay. We are still on sabbatical leave. So. I'm enjoying time at home with my kids.
You see. Let me also say that Dr. Nana Santiapia, who is chairman of the Life Healthcare Group, a patron of the BMW Club, and a member of the Motorsports Federation Ghana, is also in the studio with us. Nana, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you.
All right, we'll come to you for our Formula One updates shortly, but let me draw in Paul. Paul, Shaban talked about the narrative that Western region teams come into the league and second season they are winning the league. Examples have been your own Samatex and then Midiama. Could it be the turn of BBN Gold Stars?
I would love to see BBN Gold Stars winning the league, of course, because of the Western Alliance. And if you go to BBN, the popular saying is that Mediama has won.
Yeah.
Samates has also won. And so it is their turn to also win before he leaves the region. And so we are all backing them. We are hoping and praying they are able to realize that achievement. I think they've done very well. They have a very good team. For me, they have the best team in the league. If you look at Coach from Paul Manson's team and the kind of football they play, they play very well, both home and away. We have played them 3 times this season, twice in the league, and then once in the FA Cup. I think they play very well, very organized side. But what Kotoko may have, the advantage Kotoko might have over them, has to do with the squad size.
Okay,
I think Kotoko has a squad depth. On any good day, they have a lot of players to call upon. And with BBN, and it is that with most of the
other teams,
relatively small clubs, usually you have a very solid starting 11 and about 2-3 good substitute. And so when when injuries set in, you tend to suffer. But with Kotoko and Hasselfolk, you look at their squad size, they are able to buy experience and so on and so forth. And so last year when I was here, on our way to winning the league, after enumerating all the things we put in place, I also spoke about the fact that we were lucky not to have been plagued by injuries. Because you can imagine that if we had lost someone like Baba Musa Amadou or Keyeke or Seydou Dauda, assuming in a run we had 2 or 3 of them being sidelined, it was always going to be difficult for us to, and that is what has happened to us this season. At a point in time, we had 6 of our starting players being sidelined through injuries, and so for that, it becomes extremely difficult because we do not have a large squad or a squad depth like the Kumasi Asante Kotokos and Hasselfolk, and to some extent the Mediames have. And I think that will be the undoing of Gold Stars if they are not able to win the league. They have a very small size squad, but very potent, very well organized. They play very well. They are not just winning, they play very well. If you watch them against Accra Hasselfolk, where they drew. And I think at some point in time, the pressure that comes with having to win the league at the best of them. Because this is a Gold Stars team that played 1-1 with us at Xtra. They beat us 2-0 in the FA Cup. In the return leg, when it was clear that they were fighting Kotoko and Hasselfolk for the title, like it became clear that they are now contenders. I think there's some kind of pressure that has come on the team, and they tend to fumble in some games. For instance, if you want to win a league, you have gotten a 1-0 advantage at home in the 83rd or 84th minute against Accra Asaase. You don't allow them to come back into the game. You need to be able to do whatever it takes to hold on to the win. So I think these are some of the things. But for me, it's very good to see these clubs, these small clubs, doing very well and giving the big clubs
a good run for their money.
And let's applaud the youngest CEO. I don't know if he still retains that title. Kwesi Edu, the youngest CEO in the GPL. I think he's done very, very well himself, and then the technical team led by Coach Paul Manson. But like the statistician put out,
Shaban,
at this juncture, all the clubs seeking to win the league looks at the table and also looks at the fixtures, and based on the fixtures, they may know the kind of points or the number of points they can pick out of the 27 points remaining. Right, 9 matches left. So if you look at all those things, Kumasi Asante Kotoko, out of the 9 games left, have how many home games? 4 home games and 5 away games. Out of that 5 away games, they will be playing BBNE, who is in BBNE,
who are direct contenders for the league.
Exactly. BBNE, on the other hand, has 5 home games, 4 away games, and out of those 4 away games, he has 3 points already in one of the games.
Yes. Yeah.
You understand?
Could be very interesting.
Yes. So whilst I think Kotoko, because of their squad size, because of the fact that Prosper Ogum has won the league before, and so even though Manson may be well exposed and have been in the coaching job longer than Prosper, by reason of the fact that Prosper has won it before, has some advantage over him in terms of
winning the league,
the experience of winning the league, and so it gives Kotoko some advantage, but mathematically. And then if you look at the dynamics, you cannot take Gold Stars out. They will need to bounce back and make sure that they make their home games count. Like my brother said, Samatex had to win 16 out of 17 home games, and then we won 3 away matches and drew a couple of them, and it was enough to give us the. So out of the 5 home games, if they win, they get 15. They already have 44.
44, yes.
So that takes them to 59. So what it means is that when the Nsuatremine 3 points come, it takes them to 62. They will be getting the points needed to win, depending on the points Kotoko will amass. And so I agree with Shaban when he says that for the first time we may have 2 or 3 teams crossing the 60 mark. Yes, and then one of them eventually winning. So yes, Kotoko are favorites. But the Gold Stars are not out. Even Nations FC, because Nations are also going to host Kotoko out of these remaining games. You understand? So it is open, and for me, we may, for the first time since we played the 18-team league, have a photo finish. Because we were likely to have a photo finish. The year House of Folk won, but following their defeat to Haas beating Kotoko, it was left with about 3 or 4 games. But because Haas had a better head-to-head record and so on, it was like the league was over, even though we had 3 games to go. But with this, unless one team falters, I think it will go down to the wire, and it will fuel the excitement.
Eric, you think it will go down to the wire too?
Yes, it is. It's certainly going to go down to the wire, because don't forget, What makes it very difficult for Asante Kotoko in this title chase is the fact that they have 3 games that will determine whether they win the title or not. One is against Nations FC at Abrankese. The other one is against Hearts of Oak in Accra here.
Yeah.
There's going to be another deciding game against Bibiani Gold Stars at the Dance Park. If they falter in any of these games, it could be dangerous for them. And that is why Kotoko at this point in time cannot afford to drop points. And it's going to be difficult. Hearts of Oak themselves, look, if they win against Vision FC tomorrow, it brings them back in contention. Don't take them out.
Yeah,
they have 3 free points.
40 points. So
They have 40. If they win tomorrow, they go to 43.
43, yeah.
They have 3 free points against Nswatrema sitting down.
Yeah.
Takes them to 46.
Yeah.
So a win against Kotoko in Accra is taking them closer. So clearly it's going to be exciting because I look at the table, I look at the games left. Bibiani Gold Stars are well positioned. But per the factors Paul enumerated, I think the physios and the team doctors, they need to be up 24/7 because any team that wins, one of the things you do very well is how you manage your injuries.
Sure.
If you don't manage your injuries well, you get along the line. If Bibiani were in the position that Kotoko find themselves in, they've lost Emmanuel Kuti along the line, they lost Albert Amo along the line, they lost one of the guys from Chelsea. Emmanuel Enchi was. They've had about 4 or 5 of their key players sidelined with injuries. If this had happened to maybe Gold Stars, maybe they will not be able to survive it. You understand? Because the difference has always been the fact that these big boys, they have money to spend. And so when they are buying, they can buy and have they can have a player who should be starting in your team sitting as a backup to the one who starts in their team.
It's third choice, Graf.
You understand? So this is always the difference and the advantage they have. But honestly speaking, I think if Prosper Nate Ogum, Doctor, if he fails to win this season's league, he should be sacked. Because clearly, you cannot come in for the second time, sack about 2021 players, recruit 2021, and fail to win the league. Per Kotoko standard, it's unacceptable. Because if you sack all these players and the club had to pay judgment debt to make sure they get the players off their books, and then they pay another amount of money to recruit new players into the setup. You had all the chance to take them to preseason and everything, and you failed to win the league. Honestly speaking, for me, I think it's a failure. For Frimpong, I mean, he's been there before. He's coach. You saw how he left Bofo when they went down. He's a very good coach who knows the system. And I think we need to attribute the success of what Bibiani Gold Stars are doing this season to his ability to manage games. Even when he left Bofo, at the time he was leaving Bofakwa last season, they had not lost a game away from home. And they were about the best team on the road. They had gone 5 games without losing. Yeah. And they were just like 4th or 5th on the table. And Bofo took that suicidal decision to get rid of him, which we all saw the end result. So I think he's a coach who knows how to play the games away from home. If he is not scoring, then he makes it extremely difficult for you to be able to beat him. And that is something that will work to their advantage. If they take advantage, like Paul said, of their home games, and they are able to win, of the 5 home games, if they manage to win about 4 of them, and they get those free away points from Nswatre, and they manage to pull some draws along the line in the rest of their away fixtures, they could be on their way to winning the league. But it's certainly going to go down to the wire.
Okay,
sure.
So Eric Alagidede says if Prosper Nateogum fails to win the league, he must be sacked. That's a bold one.
Yeah.
I beg to differ. I think that the owner of the club, by all intent and purposes, have sent a signal that he is embarking on a project. And when it comes to the technical direction, Prosper Nateogum is the face. Yes, he's had some terrible, turbulent moments. Some of his decisions ended up being suicidal, like he said, having to put a lot of players on transfer, bring in players, and the following season he had to let some of them leave. But it appears this season he has the caliber of players that he wants. You understand? What is lacking is the understanding, the team play, the what we call telepathy. And usually it takes time. For me, they are grinding results this season. In the unlikely event that they don't win the league, I think he would have gotten a set of players that he knows, even if he's going to add up to the squad, that will be a few. And so next season, he will be able to cruise to win the league. That is if he is not able to win the league this season. Because if you win the league, per the experience we have had and the history, it will be difficult for you to defend because of your extra duty of having to represent us in Africa and the intricacies. I'll come there when
because I'm going to ask you.
Sure.
I'm going to ask you why Samatex is not in contention.
Yes. So I'm saying that for me, what he's going through this season is understandable, because it is not always the case that you assemble players and then
win.
You cruise. So now they are grinding the results, which is good. They are not playing well, but they are getting the results. They are on top of the league. Even if they don't win, it will save Kotoko a lot of money, because then he will just buy 2 or 3 players to add to this squad that he already knows. But if Kotoko sacks him, then a new coach comes, and then he may have to put 10, 14
so he will
on
financially
transfer.
be
Exactly. So for me, I think that once it's a project, they should allow Prosper. And for me, he's on the right track. He's on the right. Only that the results are not coming. That is what Nana. I am talking. I am basing my argument on what the open source said.
Okay, we're still live here on Team Talk on Asaase 99.5 here in Accra. We're live in Tamale on 99.7, 100.3 in Cape Coast, and 98.5 in Kumasi. We've been talking about the Ghana Premier League title race that is wide open. Kotoko lead, but 3 teams that have not won the league are all in contention. We're asking what could decide the winner of the Ghana Premier League. Are we going to see a brand new winner like Samatex did? We're dissecting all the key statistics in the league with FA statistician in the studio with us, Shaban Mohammed. We're looking at the numbers behind the goals, and again, we'll be looking at why the local league continues to struggle with sponsorship and broadcast deals. Of course, that one will be with Paul and then Eric. We'll get into that. If you have any thing you want to share with us, you can just go onto our Facebook page, Asaase 99.5, and share them with us as well. You can send us WhatsApp messages predicting who you think or which team you think will eventually emerge as winners of the Ghana Premier League on 02000000995. That's 02000000995 or 0594157777, and then we'll share all of those thoughts with the rest of the world. Let's come back to Shaban. Shaban, let's now look at the okay, so we've talked about Kotoko, BBNE, Nations FC. These are the top 3 teams there. Pando Hearts of Lions are also there with 41 points, followed by Midiama with 41 points, Accra Hearts of Oak with 40 points, and then Bichim United and the rest. The bottom 3, Accra Accra Lions, Legon Cities in Swatreman. They are already out of the league. Yeah, so
they have given the life wire to Karela and Karela, Legon Cities and all that. So because at a point in time, in Swatraman had a good. In fact, last season in Swatraman were the best away team in terms of wins.
So how would their exit affect the outcome?
It has affected because
would that decide who goes on relegation, who wins the league and all?
Yes. It has an impact even in the relegation zone.
Yeah.
Now, if you are doing analysis on the relegation zone, at a point in time, they were around 10th place in the league table. It means that teams like Karela were indirectly at the relegation zone, 16, 17, 18. So we all know that this season Accra Lions have not performed. Legon Cities have not performed, both home and away. So 17, 18 were for Accra Lions and Legon Cities. But that 16th slot was between the Karela United and the battling newly promoted sides who were not performing. But because of Instratraman exit, it has now given life wire to teams like Young Apostles, Vision FC, Accra Lions to breathe. But currently, these two teams are in the relegation zone. You see, when you are doing analysis of the league table, check the history. All the 16 Premier League teams that finished 16 are not the worst teams. It's just that they did not do their things right at a point in time. So teams go on relegation. The 17-18 didn't play well.
Okay.
Any team that goes on relegation, the three teams, 17-18 are the worst teams.
Okay.
But that 16 slot is always decided on the final day.
Okay.
Based on a win here, and a point here. And so Great Olympics, for instance, and in fact 2015 Heart of Lions finished 16th place with 40 points. And now the points amassed to avoid relegation is 45 plus. And that puts pressure on the 16 and the 17 and the 16 teams. You know why?
Yeah, tell us.
Legon Cities will now have to battle for 45 points. And now they have 22. And we are left with 27. So when you do calculation, it is not possible. Now, if you pick the 16th team,
which is Lions,
they also have to battle for additional 25 points of the 27. Now, if you now want to do the analysis on the table, look at Young Apostles. They have 30 points. Young Apostles will have, no matter what, they will be able to accumulate 10 points to the 30, which is going to give them 40. In total of the 27 points, they are likely to get 15 of the points, which is going to give them 45. Baseke, Holy Stars have 30 points. They are likely to amass 15 of the remaining 27 points, which is going to give them 45. Now come back to Legon Cities and Accra Lions. They have 22 points. Can they accumulate 20 of the 27 points to give them 42? It is no point. That is why when I do the calculation and I conclude that no,
Legon Cities
and already, but we are adding the 3 points.
That is at home.
It's a home game, but even at home they are drawing the games. So you can't tell whether they would have
so
won.
this weekend is the final life wire for Legon Cities against Samatex. If they fail to win that game, we do deductions of the points. It is because even per calculation now, Accra Lions and Legon Cities,
they are gone.
They are gone. Per calculation, we are just saying it because everything is possible. Last season, by this time, we never knew Olympics would be relegated until the last game. So there's a chance that the teams like Baseke, because Baseke in their last 10 games have won only one. Their last 10 consecutive games, one win. And so the chances of Baseke also dropping to the relegation zone is very high, depending on consistency of Legon Cities and Accra Lions. And you know what? The only way Legon Cities and Accra Lions can now give us something to talk about in the next 3 weeks is by winning their next 3 games, which is also not possible. So when we do the calculation, we'll still come back to 45 points. It's not possible. You get it? The 45 out of, so the 45, 27 points. Can they win 20 points in there?
Somebody may survive with 44. It is likely
that somebody,
depending on how results go, somebody may survive with 44. Yes.
Is it possible, Shaban?
Now we have it is possible based on the total points accumulated.
Exactly.
We have 30, 30, 32, 32.
Okay.
You see, so now
So those in the 30 column, if they keep dropping points,
that what
and those below them keep amassing points, they will go down to the wire, like Olympics did in the first round of last season. They were the league leaders. At some point in time, they were league leaders, and then in the second round, their performance started dipping so badly to the extent that eventually they got relegated on the last day of the season.
So the calculation is that Brekum Chelsea, Ediana, Baseke, Young Apostles, if they are able to reach 45 plus, it is over for Accra Lions and Legon Cities. But if they keep dropping points to stay around 30, they stay around 38, 41, as at match day 32, 33, then it gives these teams life wire. But if we are going to focus on points accumulation, if you are adding 15 points to Brekum Chelsea, Baseke, Young Apostles, then Accra Lions and Legon Cities are gone. But we'll have to wait until the last two fixtures. But you see their problem. Their problem is straightforward. Not keeping 2 or 3 experienced people. When Accra Lions started the season, Ali Mohammed was there because Shah Khan has left. Their goalkeeper Andrew Sousa is gone. Their player David Odo has left to Barcelona. So majority of the key players, and even at a point, Baba Salif Apega, who was their longest serving player at that moment, also on his way leaving the club. So Coach Ibrahim Tanko has to now rely on the new, and they don't sign experienced players apart from Ali Mohammed, who joined them from former Temale City Ashanti Good centre back. The rest of the players are Division 2, Kowa Nassau and all that. And the Premier League is so competitive that you need to blend the young and the experience, and that is their problem. The same as Legon Cities. They, prior to the start of the season, they felt they could go the Accra Lions way, where you can let go Kobina Boateng and all your key players, and now rely on the young players. When they realized that it was going to be tough, they brought in Robert Adesowa, Emmanuel Jamfi, and as at now, the harm has already been. It happened to Kotoku Royals in 2022-23 season. When they made their debut, they started with the players who qualified them, like their young player, Yaya Mohammed. That season, he scored about 19 goals in the Division 1, so they felt they could rely on him in the Premier League until they realized that it is becoming difficult. They went in for Samson Iduku, Justice Atumensa, former Azakes dwarf striker. They brought in some couple Matthew Agama to come and help them. And before that, they won some couple of games in the second round. But before that, the harm has already been done, and that is the problem they are facing now. And then Samatex not being able to win the league. Obviously, if you look at winning the league and also defend your league title, it happened. Kotoko, the last team to do that, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. Before Ashanti Gold won in 2015, while Stars Legon Cities won in 2016, 2017. Diana won their second Premier League team. Came to 2020, where Heart of Oak won. Then the following season, it went for Kotoko. The next season, Mediama. Then to FC Samatex. So the last time it happened was way back 2014. And it means that if you are going on records, then it is going to be impossible for a team to win the Premier League and also go ahead to defend the league title. And I feel that
what has happened to Samatex.
Yes, and over the years, records clearly shows that the Ghanaian Premier League teams, after winning the league, let go of some key players.
Did you do that?
Yeah, they lost the team that won the league.
No, we didn't lose the team that won.
Seydou Dawda.
Seydou
Dawda is gone. Emmanuel Keyeke is gone.
Yeah.
And then Osewusu.
And Osewusu eventually got injured and he's gone.
So
These are the three. In fact, the team that won the league, this midfield, it was absolutely the best midfield in the league.
So it was always going to be difficult.
It was always going to, there is no way you are going to get a better player than Seydou Dawda.
No, but that is not easy from statistics.
Yeah.
We can argue. Kayeke scored 5 goals. His replacement, Kwesi Sapon, with less number of goals, has 4 games, has 4 goals.
But is he able to do the same work that Kayeke did?
I am coming. You see, there are no two same players.
Sure.
So when you say the same work, there is no way you can get any player.
Has he played better than Kayeke played?
I'm saying that We are talking statistics.
No, it's not always just about statistics.
You see, this is an argument we should have, and you were part. How many players did you lose?
Oh, we lost Manaf, we lost Sadat, and in fact that was the core of the team. Number 6, number 8. These were the guys who were either shielding us from not conceding or who were providing the goals for us. And these 2 guys alone were enough to destroy the entire team. We lost the 2 of them, and the 2 of them were just enough for us to struggle, because it's not easy to replace a player like Manaf. We brought in somebody who was playing.
You know, Ruler
can't play the role that Sadat was playing.
Okay. Ruler, you see, we need to go beyond this argument of no. You see, let's be serious. I think there are extraneous factors that we have to look at.
Right.
If not, every year we will come back. Adriana don't lose players. When Adriana won the league, how many players did they lose when they went to Africa the following season? They didn't. Even Mediama, how many players did they lose? The 9 players that were rumored to have gone, they weren't first team players, except Kwesi Donsu. You see, in our case, the league, we played our last league game on 16th June. 16th June. At that point, CAF had sent us a schedule where we were going to play the first preliminary game on the weekend of 16th to 18th August. It meant that at the point when we were playing the last league game, we were 2 months away from playing the Champions League. Yeah. You cannot have less than 6 months preseason if you want to have proper preseason. The minimum should be 6 weeks. 6 weeks. So it meant that we were only going to rest the players 2 weeks.
Okay.
Then after 2 weeks, they come back, start all over. Then you play the Champions League. Meanwhile, the league has not started. The league started a month after we had prepared for preseason and started playing competitive tournaments. Okay. Yes. So, any team, regardless of whatever, you will pick at the wrong time.
Right.
And when you pick at the wrong time, scientifically, you naturally have to come down and then start again. Okay. So I am throwing a challenge. Of all the clubs since the 2004 you've talked about, you may have 1 or 2 exceptions, but you will see that it follows this scientific curve that I have given you. Look at Mediama, how they started their league defense. So take Samatesh. You will not tell me that the team, we played an off-season tournament, the Xtra Cup.
Yeah.
I don't think in that tournament, the performance of the team, you missed Kayeke and Sedu, because we had equally good replacement in Adabo, who is a fantastic player, and in our games against Kotoko House of Folk, he ended up being the man of the match, even against Raja. In Morocco, Ghanaians that watched the game sang his praises. Yes, you will not have a player who is almost like Seydou Dauda, but we have had a very good replacement. Yes, you will say that the understanding and telepathic play will be lacking. That is understood. But I'm saying that before we played the Champions League, we had put together a very fantastic team that played the Xtra tournament, that played Victoria United, that played Raja, to the applause of Ghanaian football supporters. If I'm lying, you tell me. When we played Raja, when we played Victoria, it was live on TV.
Yeah, it was.
And then even in the league, we were doing well. We were doing very, very well. At a point in time, we were placing between 3rd, 4th, thereabout. So this thing setting, you have a lot of fatigue is setting in. We are losing a lot of players to injury. For instance, before our game against Victoria, we went to play Asco Dikara in Togo. A week before the Champions League first preliminary game.
Yeah.
Then we lost Armando and then Mankuyeli, who had been brought in as to be our pivot. Because, mind you, last season, even though we won, we didn't have a great pivot. So we were just, using this guy, the guy who was part of the under-20 team that won good, Michael Efson, and then Mama. So we brought Mankuyeli as a number 9, and he scored 11 goals for RTU, a relegated side. Yeah. So it tells you his prowess. But we lost him to injury. He only returned in December. Armando returned in late December. You understand? Yeah. We lost Sewonu, who was an integral part of the team that won the league last season. We lost him to injury. Sewonu just returned in February.
Okay. So,
you understand?
So essentially,
so I'm saying that if we want to zero in to Samates, it is good. We are talking about the injuries and other factors. But if you look at the trajectory of the performance of defending champions, it has something to do with our calendar as against the CAF calendar for the competition. So it's either we do something or CAF does something.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
So so I have said it on other platforms that we should explore the possibility of ending our league in first week of May.
Okay.
So that the champion can rest for 1 month and still have 6 weeks, pre-season to prepare for the Champions League. Okay. If not, you cannot also say you are going to sit there idly, not prepare towards the Champions League. You understand? Yeah. So you will start earlier than all your competitors in the league. Right. So you will peak at the wrong time. By the time the league will be hot, the fatigue will be catching up with your squad, and then.
All right. Thank you very much. But
yes, and the points are very, very important. I'm very happy with what he said. But I was also looking at when the league started last 2 seasons. It started on the 16th of September. Yeah. This season it started on the 6th September. And last season we ended on the 16th June. Sure. This year we are ending on the 6th.
Sure. So
it's likely by next season we'll be ending May.
Okay. I'm sure if not for the police staff himself, but the calendar because of that they played the midweek matches to replace it.
The next 2 years we are likely to finish the league around 15th May. Yeah. That will be very good for us.
Now let's look at the top scorers before I zero in on the other issues with Paul and then Eric, and then I come to Nana. Right. So let's look at the top scorers and what they have, that could propel either of them to be winning the Goal King chat. Who are the leaders now?
All right. So if you talk about the top scorers, I've had conversations with a lot of people who have said that no, the goals are very few.
Yeah.
So
our top scorer has 10 goals.
10 goals now. I think DAUC scored 18. Yeah. We've seen Yawano scoring 22. We've seen Abednego 18. And then we've seen Amankuna 19. And this season we have 10 with 9 games to go. Some have 8 matches to go. And it means that if we want to reach 18, which is possible, we are likely to get the 18, and that is if one player will be consistent. So the last 9 matches, any player who will be consistent is likely to win the Goal King. Again, you see Faisal Chawite in there. He is a typical winger, and that has been the problem of Nation. If you have a typical winger as your striker, then the chances of him scoring in every week will be very difficult, and that paves way for Joseph Iso, Amankuna, because Amankuna has 10, and likely at home to get goals for Berekum Chelsea. If Berekum Chelsea in their last 9 matches gets about 3 penalties, he's likely to convert them. If he gets 2 goals in addition, 5 goals, that would give him about 15 goals as a player, depending on what other players will do. Now Kotoko are very consistent. Kwame Poku in about 2 matches gets 1 goal. So in the remaining 9 matches, if Kwame Poku is able to hit about 6 goals for Kotoko.
Currently he has 6.
He has 6. If he's able to do that, he's going up there. Then you look about Abet Amwa 7. Abet, due to injury, should be having about 11, 12 goals. So per what we saw from the first round, it was the player to watch in the Premier League. And so we who do analysis on the Premier League actually came out with about 16, 17 goals for him until his injury. And so likely to score 14 goals at the end of the season. Now, the question about why we are not getting more goals has to do with the plans of all the 18 Premier League. You know that the strength of all the 18 Premier League teams are their defense. Yes. And even look at the national team. How many of the defenders have had collab? Kamara Dini Mahmudu, Samatex Isaac Afo, Abdullahi Idrisu, the shortstopper for Hartlepool, and Frederick Asari goalkeeper. So look at how the collab is. The nations Razak Simpson. So the collab of our national team is even based on the defense. Once in a while, one striker pops in. It becomes even difficult to see midfielder breaking through our national team. So you hear people talking about Justice Blay, Lord Hilary Adabo is also performing, but it will be very difficult to see these players making in their cards by the defenders. Why? Because the biggest strength of all the 18 Premier League teams are their defense, and what the coaches do is to prevent opponents from scoring at home. And so currently you pick Bechem United, 11 matches yet to concede a goal at home. Nana Fusijiabo. You pick a club like Gold Stars, they've conceded only 4 goals at home. And so the biggest strength again for all the teams are their defense, and again their home games, and again preventing opponents from scoring in their home games. Now, you pick a club like Heart of Lions, Bismarck Enin, their right back, Yao Danso, their left back. You talk about the 2 centre backs, Ruben Hennessy and Ebenezer Aban. Solid. Difficult to break this defense. And at a point in time, beating Heart of Lions is a deal to do.
So we must give credit to
the
defense,
yes,
rather than
criticizing the strikers. Now you talk about the Nations FC. Nations FC have got, if they want to switch to 3 back, possible, because Samuel Asekufor, Oko Groupman, and Razak Simpson could give you the 3 back one. If you want to go to the 4 back, Kujua Mankwa, Christopher Nete, or Emmanuel Boahin, then you pick 2 of the 3 key centre backs and start them. That is Oko Groupman, Razak Simpson, or Samuel Asekufor and Razak Simpson. You go to Heart of Folk, you can talk about a lot of the centre backs. You talk about Yaya Draman is not even making it to the starting 11 now. Then you Ransford Mensah from the left side, Emmanuel Mankwa from the left side. Then you look at their right back who has got so much experience, Michael Ampedu. Then they have a lot of centre backs. And you can talk about Samuel Amufa, Kevin Osesibe, Kunedu Yadom, Michael Iwa Mensah. These are a lot of centre backs available. So the coaches come with a strategy to beef up their defense, and then now consider how they are going to score. So Masa Santi Kotoko, in as much as Doctor signed a lot of strikers, he considered the defense. He could have had a lot of problems. You see, Mr. Eric was making a point that when they went in for Bekum Chelsea right back, the Lord, at a point he got injured. Fortunately for them, they've gone in for Andrea Najite, and Andran fitting from the right side. Then Abulo got injured. Immediately, Michael Sifa was a direct replacement from Port City. Direct replacement. Then they have Samba O'Neill. You can talk about Henry Ansu also as a defender in there. You go to their left side, is their biggest strength. That is Patrick Isidu. Now, if you are looking at the biggest strength of all the Premier League teams, is their defense. Baba Moro of Bechem United, their biggest strength. Ebenezer Aban, Heart of Lions, their biggest strength. You go to even Samates, Ebenezer Aqua. Is one fine centre back people don't talk about, but very good in the air and also a good passer of the ball. At a point in time, Isaac Afo, but I'm sure at a point he's injured. Due to injury, we've not been hearing much of it, but it was part of the national team, their biggest strength. You talk about how to fool. People talk about Kevin Osesibe as their biggest. Kotoko, Samba O'Neill, 3 most valuable player was. Mediama Sporting Club, one of their biggest strengths is their
quality
defense.
Is spread across.
Yes, in the league. And the back 4, even Mediama, majority of the players have had national team feel. Kamara Dini and then Nuruddin Abdullahi, then Yusuf Mubarak. Former Kotoko Center is with them. And he's part of the back 4. Yes, and his penalty rate is now 5. 6 penalties. He scored 5. He's missed 1. And this, look at the back 4. Suleiman Afatao. This is the back 4. And this back 4 of Mediama could play for the national team. Any of them could play. So sometimes, yes, we have to talk about strikers not scoring. And this season, Medium have not got any top striker. In the second round, they are now relying on Michael Sapon. In the first round, it was Taylor, and Taylor was not getting them the goals. They went in for Andy Kumi. Andy Kumi is failing to score. So, and this season, a lot of the strikers are not consistent, like August Nokra. Bichim is not scoring, and so they have to rely on the young boy, Davin Yeboah. And the young boy is now picking. And look at all the entire teams. They are all relying on young strikers. And Samatex Baba Hamadou got injured at a point in time. He is now back. Now they have to rely on their midfielder Sapon. And he's scoring some best goals for them this season. And so sometimes we have to look at it. And the season that recorded the least goals scored in the Premier League is the season where an individual player scored most goals. That's in 2021-22. Yeah, not 22. But that specific season, we recorded 621 goals.
How many goals do we have now as things stand now?
We're around 300 plus. And it's likely we may not even hit 600. From the past 4 seasons, we've had 691, 2020-21, the highest. 2021-22, least 621. And that season, an individual player. So if you are to do analysis of the league in total goals scored by an individual, then you will say we are not scoring, the league is not competitive. But
so
if you are
goals are spread across.
They are spread. So when you are doing a holistic analysis on the league, you will see that the clubs have even performed because majority of the strikers left. And the young ones are now doing the work in the Premier League. So I think we have to appreciate the fact that the coaches have done well defensively. This is something we have to study. Why strikers fail to score against teams. And when we are able to do this study, we will come to the conclusion that majority of the teams have got the best of defenders in the Premier League.
Shaban, thank you. Thank you so much for your insights this morning. It's been, or this afternoon, it's been very wonderful having you join us in the studio with all of these numbers, breaking the numbers down for us to get a better understanding of how the Ghana. At the end of the season, we'll surely bring you here for some more, and we'll get to understand how the Ghana Premier League is going. But somebody would ask, with all the fine things we've said about the league, all the exciting news that we've heard, why is the league not having sponsorship? Why, in terms of promotion, have we done enough as the media, as the FA, as whoever, all the stakeholders of Ghana football? Have we done well in promoting in the Ghana Premier League? Why are we not having the broadcasting the way we want to have it? Why is the business side of the GPL not top notch? We'll get into that conversation, but that will be after I've returned from this quick break. You're still live here on the on Team Talk here on Asaase 99.5. Good morning, the ruler. You and your panelists are making me love the Ghana Premier League. Very exciting analysis. Kudos to you and your team. Tell Mo I need a home jersey of Heart of Oak. Jeff Winneba. Okay. All right. I don't know whether he wants it for free or. Okay, maybe an autographed one.
Yeah, you should buy and bring it. We'll sign for it. It's done all over in Europe.
Okay, all right. So we'll get into that. But like I mentioned, Doc is also here. So once I return from the break, I'll go to Doc straight, and then we'll finish with Formula One, and then we'll finalize this conversation with sponsorship and the broadcasting and promotion of the Ghana Premier League. Keep it out locked in here. This is Asaase 99.5. Stay on.
Artsy. Artistic, relevant, thought-provoking showbiz discussion just for you. Only on Asaase Radio. Don't miss out.
Artsy on Asaase Radio nationwide every Saturday from 1 p.m. with Diego. Get interactive. #Artsy. #Asaase Entertainment. Artsy. Arts. Culture. Entertainment.
Hi there, I'm Steve Vickers in Zimbabwe, and for a compelling wrap of African football, what's happening around the continent and what African players are doing overseas, listen in to Planet Sport Football Africa in Ghana on Asaase Radio 99.5 FM and nationwide, Fridays at 6:30 p.m.
Your go-to show for African football on Asaase Radio nationwide.
back in time and immerse yourself in the nostalgic tunes of yesteryear. It's 2 hours of ultimate collection of mega hits and bangers. Songs you love on Back to the Old School. This is the ultimate throwback experience. Tune into Asaase 99.5. Listen every Saturday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. for authentic music. Let's go back to the old school on Asaase, your premier music experience station. Asaase, the voice of our land.
Asaase Sports in 60. Fast-paced, major stories, breaking news, and all sports updates in 60 seconds. Sports in 60 is daily on Asaase Cafe at 10 past 11 and a rush hour at 10 past 3. Fresh, brief, accurate, and hotter sports news in 60 seconds. The Sports in 60 seconds on Asaase Cafe and the rush hour, 10 past 11 and 10 past 3 p.m. respectively. Asaase Radio, the voice of our land.
All right, welcome back. You're still live here on Asaase 99.5. It's Team Talk. We're live in Tamale, Cape Coast, and Kumasi. And, I mentioned that Doctor is here, Dr. Nana Asante-Appiah, who is chairman of Life Healthcare Group and patron of the BMW Club and a member of the Motorsports Federation Ghana. We still have that conversation on the lack of sponsorship and broadcasting of the Ghana Premier League to come, but that'll be after I'm done with Doc. We're talking about about Formula One. Now we are hitting the Bahrain Grand Prix, right? All right. So Doc, where is the viewing party this time?
We are at Labadi Beach Hotel tomorrow at 3 o'clock when the race starts. So we urge our members.
Is it 3 p.m.?
3 p.m.
Oh, okay. So that's the Bahrain Grand Prix, right?
The gates open at 2 p.m. And we get a 20% discount on all drinks and food.
Oh,
so everybody should come. It's going to be exciting.
Is it for those who come early or everybody?
For everybody who comes to watch the race.
Tomorrow I'll sit by your side.
By all means, you're welcome.
Right. So, what is there to report? Tell us. What should we expect with the Bahrain Grand Prix?
Well, Bahrain is in the desert, and the temperatures are very different from what we have seen so far this year. The first 3 races that we've had.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of teams, especially Ferrari, that is upgrading their. Bringing upgrades to their cars to see if they can compete with the rest. But so far, after free practice, it looks like they are not making headway. So we expect the top 3 teams to be McLaren, Red Bull, and Mercedes, with maybe the Ferrari as the 4th best team.
Is it? Yesterday I chanced on Norris playing down McLaren's advantage after that practice. They said they will be competitive. Yes.
Well, there's politics and shenanigans in all these things. They're trying to play the psychological game like they are not on top, but they are. And there's always this beef between, they are young and very competitive drivers. So they always try to play the mind games so that they have an advantage. And they are being trained by professional psychologists to say what they say in public. Yeah.
So what should we be expecting?
Well, we should expect a lot of overtakes. In the last race, it was virtually like a procession,
Yeah.
And it was a bit boring.
It was a bit boring.
But this one, because of the nature of the circuit and because of the way the tires would degrade, so there must be at least 2 pit stops, and there should be about 2 pit stops in the race. So it's going to be exciting, and I think Red Bull will be a big challenge, but the McLarens, if they're able to take care of their tires, then maybe they'll have the day. Yes.
No chance for Ferrari?
Ferrari, so far, maybe this afternoon in FP3, which is just about to start.
Yes, I'm monitoring it.
Maybe we'll be able to see something. But so far, not so good. And we Ferrari supporters are at a big disadvantage. But please, can I ask you for your indulgence?
What? Okay.
BMW Club this afternoon, as we speak, are having the Throttle Series at Alisa Hotel.
Okay.
So we urge all members to be there.
All
it's
members.
going to be fun. All members of the club. And
Would-be members are not welcome.
would-be members are, and the general public.
What does it take to be a member?
Anybody who is interested in cars and BMW in particular.
So all of them have BMW cars?
Most of them.
Oh. So what is that? What is it about?
It's about sharing technical knowledge, enjoying the brand, the usual form of. That is what brings us together. But we have a lot of social responsibilities, and we visit prisons, hospitals, schools. We drive to the place and then we make our presence felt.
That would be for the rich, or
No, it's not fun. It has.
Me and Eric can come.
Oh yeah, you can come. The interesting thing is that it has all sorts of people across the board.
Right.
Policemen, doctors, security people, mechanics, teachers.
You just must have love for BMW.
Yeah, just for motorsport first, and then maybe BMW in particular. Yeah.
So by close of tomorrow, what are you expecting from the likes of McLaren, Red Bull, and all the others?
There's always the thing that my heart wants and the reality on the ground.
Yeah.
My heart wants Lewis Hamilton and the Ferraris to do well, but looking at the practical situation on the ground, if they're able to finish, if Ferrari comes in 4th and 5th, I'll be very happy. But it looks like the McLarens, followed by the Mercedes, that nobody is talking about.
They're making some.
Yes, they are doing much better than they did last year, and the Ferraris are rather going backwards. So it's going to be very interesting, and we want everybody to be at the
We should still be giving Lewis Hamilton some time, right?
No, I don't think we should give him any time, because if you go back to his history, the first year that he was a rookie in McLaren, he nearly won the championship. So it has nothing to do with his ability. I think it has something to do with the car. And probably if they're able to fix it, because even by last year, by this time, Leclerc was winning races in the Ferrari. So we don't know what's going on there. Maybe
all right. So
big technical issues.
Yeah, big technical. Right. Thank you very much. But like we mentioned, the viewing party tomorrow, 3 p.m. But you need to be there by 2 p.m.
Yes.
At the Labadi Beach Hotel. For the viewing of that. Of course, like I mentioned, I'm coming to sit by you.
Oh, you should come. You should come. It's the home of Formula One. Labadi Beach Hotel is the home
the
of
last
Formula
time I watched live, it was Labadi Beach Hotel I watched. Yes. I would love to be there.
And thank you for giving us some time. In Ghana, everything is football.
Anytime.
But my parting shot to them
is
that it is unfortunate that as Ghanaians, we tend to like things from outside. I don't understand why the Premier League in Ghana should not be the thing that is forward. In terms of football, we have allowed the betting people and DSTV to take over everything. And that is why the Ghana, according to me, that's why the Ghana League is not at par with the Premier League.
Thank
you.
You
have something to do.
You have something to do indeed. Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's Dr. Nana Santiapia, who is chairman of the Life Healthcare Group, patron of BMW Club Ghana, and a member of the Motorsports Federation Ghana. Thank you. This is about his second time or third time here. Thank you so much for coming. And to you, Nana Poku, wherever you find yourself, good morning or good afternoon to you. I'm still in the morning mood.
So you are invited. Come.
All right. We will come.
All right.
We'll try and join.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. So let's now get into the other issues that I wanted us to talk about with regards to the GPL and some of the things that are happening. While on the pitch, the action is compelling, the off-field story is less exciting. it continues to operate without major sponsor and a consistent broadcasting deal. Paul, why is our game struggling to attract commercial interest?
Because we don't have a brand. We don't have a brand. When I say we don't have a brand, I'm talking in terms of marketing.
With diagrams.
You see, we are just playing football. I would want to premise my explanation or my presentation on this rather controversial, note. In terms of pure football, the Spanish league is way ahead of the English Premier League. What makes the English Premier League the number one league in the world has to do with the brand. How it's been packaged, how it's been marketed. Consistently, even when the English teams were not doing well in European competitions and so on and so forth, they consistently told us that the English Premier League, the best league in the world, EPL, the best league in the, not only the West, they followed it up with certain things. You see,
we've been deliberate with promoting the brand.
So the question is, today it is the Ghana Football Association that owns the GPL. Which platforms of the GFA is marketing, is projecting the Ghana Premier League? None. There is no one dedicated platform on either Facebook, Twitter, or wherever that is dedicated to promoting, projecting, marketing the GPL. There is none. Look at what the gentleman was doing. I'm referring to Mo Shaban. Will it not be beneficial to the league if we had a dedicated channel support this gentleman with a lot of equipment and software to be the Opta of Ghana GPL? You get me? Yeah. So for me, you can be playing the best of footballs, but if the marketing side, if the business side is not looked into, we are going to struggle. Look at the ESCO. Look at the staff of the GFA. When we are about to play a Black Stars game, all of them go to the grounds. You see the communications people spread along radio stations and media outlets, TV, all over, granting interviews and shipping enthusiasm, calling on people to come on board. Why is it that we don't see those things for the GPL, which is supposed to be your product? The Black Stars is not for the GFA. The GFA's number one product is the Ghana Premier League. And we have staff, the ESCO, all of them. How many of the ESCO members go to Premier League centers? Because you see the chaos that happens at the various league centers. Sometimes the match officials who are supposed to report accurately so that the disciplinary committee and all the other judicial bodies can, based on their report, give favorable rulings. They don't give accurate reports. So for me, I am perplexed that up till now, the owners of the league have not found it, have not found it necessary that we dispatch the board, the directors, to go and witness things for themselves. Look, Samatex has been in the league for 2 seasons, going to 3 seasons now. The only time we have seen an ESCO member at the Xtra Sports Arena coming to witness things for himself was when we won the league and they were coming for the coronation. No one.
They say your place is too far.
No one. No ESCO member. No GFA, whatever. I'm talking about the top hierarchy, the directors, have had the occasion to come down. There is a buzz. Ghanaians are talking about a venue of the GPL that even in an era where we are struggling for spectatorship, this venue continues to have a lot of people coming. There is a buzz, so we are going to see for us. None of them.
So
I'm saying that.
So the FA is not interested in.
No, they are not. They're honest. Yes. So when you talk the Black Stars, in marketing wise, we have a brand because there is a consistent, deliberate, and whatever effort put together to present the Black Stars as a set, even when they are not doing well. Even when they are not doing well. So even when the Black Stars fail to qualify for the AFCON with such an abysmal performance and then continue to get people to watch the Black Stars fill the stadia, it tells you that performance alone cannot be the justification that people are not coming to the stadium. You understand? Yeah. Because even when the Black Stars were not performing, there was a way, we found a way to get people into the stadium. So I'm saying that, yes, I will not only blame the GFA, of course, the members, the individual clubs, those running the clubs, what are the strategies we are putting in. But when the fish rots, it starts from the head. Personally, I do not see any effort being put into projecting the league and making the league attractive to corporate entities who are not Father Christmas looking for people to give them their monies. You understand? If you want them to come on board, they are looking for something. They are looking for the eyeballs. What strategy has the GFA put in place to make sure that people come to the stadium? Today, we are struggling with safety and security issues at our stadium. Yeah. Why should the random person who wants to go out with the girlfriend or the family choose to go to the stadium when his security or safety is not guaranteed? When we allow people to carry out crimes, criminal activities in the name of football, and they are not prosecuted, they are not taken on, and the owners of the product do not see anything wrong. See, sometimes you would want to protect and shield the association because you are a member, and you wouldn't want to expose it to public ridicule. But sometimes the things you witness, the things you see, and these are the things that have cumulatively, you understand, taking us to where we are today. When people talk about the GPL, what readily comes to mind? The things they say, is it negative or positive? So why would an entity decide to partner
sink money into?
Exactly. So that is why we are where we are. Yes, you can talk of the dip in quality in terms of players and so on and so forth. But the Black Stars, the quality of players in 2006 is not the same as today. So how can we continue to fill the stadium? You understand? Yeah. I don't want us to use that as a... Because if we had done what we are supposed to do, if we had put enough effort into promoting, projecting, making sure the right things are done, people have been complaining about bad officiating and have been citing bad... I know a lot of people who have cited bad officiating as the reason why they will not go and pay to watch a Premier League game. What actions has the FA taken? Sometimes some of these allegations might even be baseless, but you ought to be seen to do something to breed in confidence for the people to rescind their decisions. But it has been business as usual, and that is how come we are where we are.
Eric, I remember when the Pole incident happened, I heard Nana Odro-Safo talk about sponsorship and even said that the following week or 2 days or something, or as soon as the league resumes after the Pole incident, we're going to have a sponsor announced for the Ghana Premier League. Till date, nothing has come out of that. I don't know if you heard that too. But from where you stand, has promoting the Ghana Premier League been top of the agenda for the FA? And as a media, do you think we're also doing enough in promoting the Ghana Premier League? Now, yesterday, it happened there. Sports Minister was there at the
Tuba
Xtra,
yeah,
where that game between Hoho United and Atram Divisa was marred by violence. The
minister was present.
Yes, the minister was there.
Yes, the minister was.
He was there.
The minister was there, and I have some of his voices after.
You know, it's a Volta caucus thing, so he went to render his support. Unfortunately, he left along the line before the game ended.
Yeah. So and some of these things are happening to our leagues, even in the lower divisions and all. Well, I know you have interest in that. You want to talk briefly on that, but let's look. I'll give you the next 5 minutes.
My brother Paul has enumerated on a number of issues. You see, sometimes I get amazed at the way we run our association, and I say our association because we are members of the association.
The football people.
Exactly. I don't feel very comfortable with that term, but we are members of the association. Sometimes you are forced to speak, not because you want to denigrate the very product that you eat from. There is nobody who wants to soil where he or she gets their daily bread from. This is where we have decided to work. Some of our colleagues have decided to go into politics. Others have decided to go into farming. We decided, yes, others are in the banking sector. We decided to do football. And this is where we find ourselves. We belong to the association. And so sometimes it becomes extremely difficult to portray the association in a negative way. But truth be told, I don't think we have really done well with the Ghana Premier League and the others. You look at how we have handled marketing. Paul talked about the fact that when there is a Black Stars game, every single member of the FA, you see them at the Accra Sports Stadium. They are here, Kumasi, they are there, or Kumasi, or Cape Coast. They are here, they are there. You see everybody around trying to do something to make sure it is successful. Yeah. Can we pump half of that energy into the Ghana Premier League? And that is something we are not doing. And I find it strange that your number one product is the GPL. And you are not enthused, you are not interested in making it attractive to the corporate world. Like what happened yesterday. A club like Hoho United, I can tell you in confidence, as at last night, the bankrollers were deciding, they were taking a very serious decision to pull out of the Division 1 League. As at 10, 11 p.m., they were locked up in a meeting, and the bankroller wanted to pull out because he was there. And he saw how Juliet Appiah decided the game for Atram Divisa. They scored in the 92nd minute, and she says no, she is not taking the goal. And at the end of the game, it turned into violence. You saw the charge this morning that the prosecutor is saying that the prosecutor is charging the two clubs for failing to control their fans. So when the sports minister went into that game, and tomorrow you go and sit before the sports minister and you are convincing him that government should find a way to pump money into the league, how do you convince the sports minister that at every other match venue there is one violence or the other? Why? Are we the only people playing football? Are we the only people doing football in the world? All the match day protocols, I told you the last time. I told you it was just for a limited period of time. And it is clear. You saw it yesterday. Where were the policemen yesterday at Tuba? Where were they? I told you after 1 month, this whole thing, you go to the match venue, you won't find them. Where were they? People's heads were broken. Somebody fainted yesterday. And you keep doing this, and the videos are flying in this era of social media. And we do all this, and we expect that somebody will sit somewhere and come and tell you that, look, come for some $2 or $3 million and go and put it in the league. It won't happen. Even in Europe, where you see people play in stadia without, what do we call it, inner perimeter fences. Players score and they actually run to the fans to go and celebrate with them. How many times do we see people jumping onto the fields? Once in a while it will happen. But here, in the fans, in the stands, we will fight. When you create all these negative vibes and negative atmosphere around it, and then officiating is a big canker in our league.
Yeah, it is.
A referee does this, a club is chasing promotion. Look, they chased this thing the whole of last season. Eventually, they were undone by Vision FC, who qualified ahead of them. This season, they are back in it. They are pumping in money. They are branding their club. You go to Hohoi on match days in Division 1. They look, if you bring all the 18 Premier League clubs together and you take the top 3 or maybe 4 teams, Hohoi will beat the rest of the Premier League clubs in terms of spectatorship. At their venue, a Division 1 team that can play a game and rake in 40,000 Ghana cedis every other match day or more. It's not a fluke. So when somebody puts all these things together and you decide to decide a game, then why wouldn't they be thinking of pulling out? And the rate at which we are going, Ignatius Bafwe were pulled out, obviously for security reasons. If Amewu decides to pull out of this league, very soon we will be sending a signal to people who want to invest that, look, it is not worth investing in the league.
And I wish people know what the players of Samatex Xtra are going through with that decision. That
exactly.
Decision.
People don't know. So you are a referee. You are supposed to be, your name is supposed to be fair play. Go in there and make sure you apply the rules. You go in there with results in your pocket. You want to decide who wins the game. What kind of system are we running? At the end of the day, you do all this. Now somebody says, okay, because of A, B, C, D, that has happened, I don't want to play again. Is anybody thinking about the technical team? Are you thinking about the players? Now look at the Xtra boys. Look at them. They don't even know their fate, whether they will be paid from now till June, when they will have the opportunity to join either Samatex or any other club. They are going to be home. So who is going to foot their bills? The rest of them who have people that they take care of. How do they take care of them? This morning, 2 of them just sent me a message and they need money.
Yeah, you have to send money.
You need to send money to them.
There's a lot.
Yes, I think that this particular topic needs
needs a lot of time. Yeah.
So because you see, the long and short of this for me is that our league is not being managed. It's not being managed
at all.
Because if we are really managing the league, there should be an assessment. We should do a preview. For instance, if we had competent people whose interest is to manage the league, every match week you do an assessment and identify hot spots based on results, the dynamics of the league, the league table, the history, background, whatever. This is an FA, they will not do this. You, the club, you will do your own background and give them intelligence, and they will not act on it. You see, our case with
from experience.
Yes, you know my case with Samatex against Sky.
Yeah.
On Friday before the game, Sky FC supporters met to plan how to attack Samatex. And someone leaked the information. Someone from the town who was part of the meeting leaked the information. I told Julius, who was then the security and safety manager. Senna was then the competitions manager. So we requested for military presence. We have given you this sensitive information. When we came for the pre-match, Senna was there. The GFA sent Senna, and he saw tensions at the pre-match. Do you know what happened? After the pre-match, the supporters threatened Senna because they knew they had been given information that he's from FA. And then Senna ran away. Yet, the GFA told us to go and play the game without the presence of military. If I had been killed, who was to be blamed? So the league is not being managed. It's like we have just come out with fixtures, go and play. That is all. Referees will come, match commissioners will come, and that is all. Even after this incident, any competent body would have looked at how to, manage the situation and then reconcile the clubs. That is very important, because when you do this to Hohoi, next season, football, you will go there and they want to retaliate. So what will you do? You need to take action to reconcile the clubs. Okay. Have you ever heard the GFA, after such incident, taking steps to reconcile clubs? No. And so I'm saying that our problem is that the league is not being managed.
Right. Thank you very much. Paul Kwesi Anyamba is the business development manager for Summertex 1996. Eric Alagidede is a football administrator joining us this afternoon on Team Talk here on Asaase 99.5. Just before we bring you the news, let me say happy birthday going out to Zainab Abdul Latif. Let me say happy birthday to Zainab Abdul Latif of Adontin SHS Form 2 Science. May the Almighty Allah bless you from your dad Alaji Latif and your mom Zuleya Salifu Haruna. They say happy birthday to you. My name is Ekoy Sylvie Galwell, and next week we'll be here with another edition of Team Talk. You have a wonderful weekend, and the news is up, after which Atsi with Diego Parker, Togo, Benin. You have a wonderful weekend.